friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy, this late night edition. Probably my last Live at the Roxy of being 31. On Thursday, I turned 32. I'll be here with the Whirl Girls tomorrow, though, not here on the Whirl Girls. And funny enough, I told them, I was like, Dee was like, do you want to do for your birthday? Do you want to do TV and movie talk stuff? And I was like, that's so funny. I just for Live at the Roxy planned this episode where I picked out my top 10 movies and TV shows of the year. So I was like, we can do both those. So we'll talk TV and movie here tonight. And then we'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow and celebrate my birthday. Thanks for being here live with me late night, all you insomniacs, or maybe you're in Australia. Maybe it's normal time for you. I'm currently making a kind of like intensive bolognese sauce. So I have about a half an hour or so while it's still on the stovetop. I also have things I want to go over with you guys. And plus streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, getting your questions, comments, concerns, thoughts on these shows and movies. Let's get right into it. Let's break it down. And then we will go from there. I want to start by talking about television. I put out my list on social media, but here's what happened. I've watched 80 TV shows so far this year. For those of you guys who don't know me, bizarre for a show to find me, but I am a TV junkie. I'm obsessed with television, and I watched 100 something shows last year. I'm on track to hit 150 this year. So far, I have watched 80 shows on TV this year. That's not 80 shows that I've watched. That's 80 shows I've watched that have come out this year. I've watched more than that, but some of them are throwbacks, and I don't include those. So, like, if I re-binge How I Met Your Mother or Friends, that's not included in my 80 shows. It's 80 shows that are on TV in 2023 that I watched in 2023 that make my list. So I'm 80 deep right now. So I picked my 10, the 10 that I thought were the best or my favorite to talk about. But then after I put out the list, I watched two more shows. The first one being Platonic and the second one being Silo. Now, I'm still not done with Silo. I am, let's see how far I am into Silo, only a few episodes. I'm currently on episode 4. I'm on episode 4 of Silo. So I haven't finished that. I did binge all Platonic, except for the fact that the final episode of Platonic is not out yet. So I caught up on that. So I'm going to just, for the purpose of this, those shows are not on this list because I didn't watch them in the first half of 2023. I am watching them in the second half of 2023. I don't know that Platonic would have made the list in general anyway, because I thought the show was amazing. If you don't know, it's Seth Rogen, it's Rose Byrne. It's a show about two besties that are platonic and both have separate love lives and whatever it is. And it just reminded me so much of me and one of my friends. And it is really nice to see a platonic friendship on television of two people of different genders. It is just something that we don't see very often. And boy, oh boy, is it real that you can have a friend of a different gender. So I'm pretty stoked that show exists. I think they did a great job with it. But I don't know that it would have made out. I don't know if it would have made the final list. Oh, Garth just said that the Platonic episode came out an hour ago, the final one. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Silo, however, I'm not done with it yet, but I have a big feeling based on the first 3.5 episodes that I've seen that Silo probably would have made my list and probably will make my top 10 of the year list. I can't say that for sure yet, but holy shit, that show is so good. If you guys are not watching that, I mean, the pilot episode was amazing. I was hooked from jump. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing here. Oh, shit. And I heard a lot of people talk about Silo, and I was like, all these people are talking about Silo. How the fuck am I not watching this? So just wanted to preface it with that. So let's start with TV, then we'll get the movies. Streamlabs in, what is your favorite TV show of the year? What do you think is the best TV show of the year? Sometimes those answers are the same. Sometimes those answers are different. And I get it. Like, to me, Friends is my favorite show of all time. If you said to me, what is the best show of all time? I probably wouldn't pick Friends. If somebody did pick Friends, I think that you could make an argument of it. But I think best, we hold different qualifications, and there's different benchmarks that have to be hit for a best. And so for me, these lists kind of are a glob of those two things, a merger of where best meets favorite. So feel free to send in your best or your favorite or whatever you think. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Super chat in. As a reminder, all creators much prefer Streamlabs to Super Chat. That is because Google does this really insane thing where it takes 50% of your money, honey. And Streamlabs doesn't do that. It's just asinine that they can do that. They're like, we take somewhere around 30%. And then last year they took 50% of the money that you guys were using to support me. Google took 50%. So streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Send it in loud, send it in proud. Let's get to my list. This is in no particular order, although I will start with what I think is the number one show of the year so far, which kind of goes against me saying it's in no particular order. The rest of the list is in no particular order. To me, the best show of the year so far is Succession. Oh man, it was just perfect. It was a great finale for a great show. They stuck the landing. I was so happy with the way that it turned out. It was just the best written and performed show of the year. And it would be really hard for me to not give this. If I was the sole Emmy voter, I think this would win best show because it's so fucking good. It's bizarre that in 2023, a show like this would even move the needle for me. It sounds like a bunch of rich pricks all in one room doing shit that we're seeing in the news every day. It's like, why would that be so entertaining? It just fucking is. It just is. I don't think anything's better than Succession. A lot of people say to me, it's a little slow, or I wasn't hooked after the first couple episodes, then I probably think it's not the show for you. I don't know why this doesn't work for some people because everybody's different. It's the same reason why, growing up, you might not like avocado. Sure, I dig it. You might not. Also on the list, The Great. This is a show that I hype all the time. This is on Hulu. I finished 3 seasons in, 3 seasons strong. Could have been 4 seasons. I think it was 3 seasons. Somebody check me on that. Every episode was excellent. This is Nicholas Hoult. This is Elle Fanning. I was really blessed to interview Elle Fanning a few years ago, and she was so fucking cool. It was for that movie she was in, All the Bright Places, something like that. And she was just so lovely and endearing. And I talked to her about one time watching this interview that I watched growing up when I was in acting class. I saw an interview of Dakota Fanning talking about how because she didn't have a normal childhood, because she was an actress, she didn't feel like she had all the tools in her shed to be like a person her age sometimes on screen. So she had never gone to a high school party and she was trying to do this role of a high schooler and she didn't know what that was like. So I was talking to Elle about it and Elle was like, that's so interesting because my sister and I had completely different upbringings. Elle, it feels kind of like the Olsens, right? Like the Olsen twins were so fucking famous when they were young. And now Elizabeth Olsen is kind of the biggest star of the Olsens, but she had more of a normal life growing up as opposed to Ellen Dakota. The same thing with Ellen Dakota. Dakota Fanning was such a massive child star. But Elle's the one who is bigger right now. And so kind of interesting. But anyway, she's amazing in The Great. The show is absolutely excellent. Can't recommend that enough if you're looking for a comedy. It's a period piece. And a lot of time period pieces, I'm like, it's just not funny. This one happens to be amazing. Dave is the biggest cringe television show maybe ever. It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Sorry if you don't, sometimes when we can't separate the art from the artist, I totally understand. But the other show that it reminds me of is Louie, which was an amazing show. Rami, like all of these shows about the people that they're about, the comedians, they just fucking work for me. And Dave does a great job. Plus they have some of the biggest actors, A-list celebrities. I mean, in this season, I won't give away who was the final celebrity in the final episode because it was the biggest of all of them, but they had Rachel McAdams, they had Usher. It's just like star after star on this show. And it's funny. It's poignant. It's bizarro. I love the secondhand guy, Gata. He's incredible too. This is a really, really great show. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. What is your favorite show of the year? What is the best show of the year? Send in that support. Remember, it's my birthday week. I'm turning 32 on Thursday. That's fucking crazy. Who's going to be our first Streamlabber of the night? Thank you to everybody who is here joining me live for this late night show. The next one that's on my list is Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Now, by the end of the year, this show is probably going to get bumped. Now, here's the thing. I love this show. I love Rachel Brosnahan. I loved every season of this show. This season wasn't my favorite season of the show, but it's still great because even a meh episode of this show is still excellent. And this show had the best series finale that I have seen in years. I wasn't expecting it. It knocked me on my ass, but the way that they wrapped this all in a bow, and like this is a show that's made me laugh for so many years, and the way I was crying because of some choices they made and then laughing, I really related to this. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel obviously is about a woman who is a stand-up in a time period which is a man's world, and she's making her way through, and she has to sacrifice a fucking lot to be there. And the way that they do this final episode, I felt so connected to it in a way that I was like just praying for that moment for myself. And not that it was fucking about me, but I think that's why I just connected with it on a completely different level. And I could not have loved Marvelous Mrs. Maisel more. Yellow Jackets, its sophomore season was probably not as strong as its freshman season, but it was still so great. The lengths that this show is willing to go to be just the freakiest show ever. It's gory. It makes you think. It's like if Lost got super dark, super fast. It's really good. Showtime. Big win for Paramount. The Bear. This is the most recent one to enter my list. The Bear season 1 was on my list for last year. The Bear season 2 is on my list for this year. I honestly, because of episode 6 and 7, the Christmas episode and the cousin episode, it's like those are the two best episodes I think of the show in total. So it's like, even though the freshman year was probably a little stronger than the sophomore year, those two episodes back to back were like the biggest 1-2 punch that we've seen in a long time in television. I know most people are talking about the Christmas episode 6, but to me, episode 7, I just was so in love with. 6 is a bigger feat, right? Like, it's like crazy what they did and just the familial angles of it. But 7 was such a good, feel good, like, fuck yeah, cousin. And I'll leave it at that so I don't give spoilers, but just really, really great. Excellent show. Black Mirror is not making a lot of people's lists. Black Mirror is a show that I think really deserves to be still on people's lists because people are comparing it to different seasons, and they don't like that a couple of the episodes didn't have a technology angle this time. I felt like, what do we want from them? They put out fucking essentially 5 movies. Like, and it's banger after banger. I'm never bored. I'm always invested. They have 6 celebrities, awesome premises, and it's legitimately like watching 5 different movies when they release it. I still loved this season. I loved every episode. Did I like some episodes better than other? Yeah, sure. But I didn't dislike any, and I think that's a huge accomplishment. Shrinking, I've talked a lot about this show. It's Harrison Ford's having a fucking huge year between being in the Yellowstone universe and coming back as Indy and then doing Shrinking. He's just showing like, listen, age is just a number. That body is sick though. He's like, I can be a comedian, I can be an action star, and I can do a period piece, and don't at me. And I'm like, I won't. Also, Shrinking is just a great show in general. And I think that especially shows where the mom's dead, it's like totally, as you guys know, DPC, I'm not the president because you have to have 2 dead parents to be the president, but like I might have VP status in the DPC, Dead Parents Club, obviously. And so any show where the mom's dead, I'm like, all right, I'm immediately invested, super fucking into it. Krista Miller was so great and so lovely when she came in to talk to us over on The Big Thing, and even just like that peek behind the curtains of everything that goes into every moment, how much this was based on Stutz, which was one of my favorite movies of last year. You guys remember Jonah Hill, who must not be named right now. Otherwise, he'll tell me to put a jacket on. That little text thread was unbelievable. Anyway, Jonah Hill's therapist, Phil Stutz, he made that doc on his therapist, and Krista Miller shares the same therapist, and she was talking about how much of Shrinking was actually based on Stutz. So it's no wonder I love the show, because I love Stutz so much. I can't believe a video game adaptation is making my list, but The Last of Us, it's just, when you're watching it, you're like, wow, y'all, all you other video game adaptations have been done dirty, because you can do this well. You can make a video game into something else, a movie, a TV show, a comic book. You can adapt it, and you can do it greatly. And this is that. I'm stoked for season 2. As you guys know, I am not a player of The Last of Us. However, I have a lot of predictions, a lot of theories. I'm trying to go la 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 la, as everybody seems to want to fucking spoil what happens in the next one. So hopefully I avoid it. And the last one on my list for TV, remember, I didn't see Silo before this. I did not see Platonic before this, so don't come for me. The last one is Abbott Elementary. When Friends was out, Friends would have been on my list. When 30 Rock was out, 30 Rock would be on my list. When Parks and Rec was out, Parks and Rec would be on my list. Abbott Elementary is out, and Abbott Elementary. The Office was out, The Office would have been on my list. And Abbott Elementary is now on my list, because it is the successor to those. Like, this is network sitcom at its finest. It's right now, to me, the funniest of all. I'm looking through. So The Great making my list. The Bear being nominated as a comedy, but we're not going to count that as a comedy. Dave, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, they're all comedies. But Abbott Elementary is the one that's like classic comedy. It's going to make you laugh. It's got that will they, won't they relationship. I'm an East Coast girly, so it taking place in Philly is dope for me. And yeah, I'm super, super into that show. I think that Quinta is just amazing, and all the performers on it, but I love what she's doing there. And I think it's also awesome. You guys know I've talked about this little tidbit before, but that the first season, they took their entire marketing budget. They didn't market the show because they gave the money to inner city schools in Philly. And that's just like, you're doing good. You're making a great show. You're making me laugh. I found you anyway. Just like, way to go. Way to go. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Super chat in. Let me know your favorite or the best TV show of the year. I think that, like I said, Succession's probably the best and my favorite. It's a tough call, though. In the Streamlabs, J. Furgen. Let's go. Nope, J.L. Furgen. I'm going blind, guys. I need to get glasses. I just don't want to, and then your eyes get worse, and then I have to go in for the test. Happy early birthday. Been watching you since DC Movie News in 2015, maybe. Much love. Oh, that's so great. Thank you. I miss DC Movie News. I'm so glad we got the gang back together to talk about The Flash. Curious if The Flash makes any of your guys' movie lists. Let me know in the Streamlabs and in the super chat as we transition to talking about movies. Okay. So, little peek behind the curtain, because I haven't put out my review yet about Babby. You're like, what the fuck's Babby? Let me tell you. Babby is how, when you're from Boston, you say Barbie. It's, oh my God, Babby. She's so pretty. We fucking love Babby, dude. Just a whole lot of Babby, bunch of Babby. It's kind of like if you're Australian throwing shrimp on the Babby. But it's just the disgusting accent I was born with. Barbie. I grew up loving Barbies. I had dozens of Barbies. I was obsessed with Barbies. I'm a Barbie girl. Unfortunately, we're not in a Barbie world. I wish we were, but I am a Barbie girl. So for those of you guys who don't stalk me on Instagram, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, the Barbie premiere was at 7 p.m. this Sunday. At 7 p.m. It was 6:30. I live by the ocean. The premiere was downtown. And I went to Instagram and saw my girlfriend posted that she was at the Barbie premiere. So I responded to her Instagram story and I said, oh my God, shut the fuck up. And she wrote back, I have an extra ticket. Get here. I was on my bike. I had zero makeup on. I was sweaty and gross. And I was like, fuck it. I'm calling an Uber. I am dying to, it's my most anticipated movie of the year. I am dying to fucking see this thing. So what did I do? I obviously just got there with 0 seconds to spare. Ran inside. Again, looked like asshole. Like just probably smelled like shit. Got there and it was, this is my favorite movie of the year. The movie is, and I can't do, obviously I won't do any spoilers, but the movie is perfect. It's fucking amazing. I think some people are going to hate it. It takes a huge ass swing. And I cannot believe some of the things that they were trying to say. It was hysterical. I think that Ryan Gosling is going to be known more for this performance as Ken than any other performance of his career in the past or in the future. This is like, Margot's amazing. Issa Rae is amazing. Simu Liu is amazing. Kate McKinnon is awesome in this. It's just so effing great. Barbie's topping my list of movies for this year. I'm seeing Oppenheimer on a week from today, and I'm hearing that Oppenheimer is incredible. So I'm a big Nolan girl, even though I didn't love Tenet, but in general, I'm a big Nolan girl. Bet that I'm going to really like it. Oppenheimer. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Going back to the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Mike Joyce for the win. Yes, Mike Joyce. Thank you. He said, TV, Succession, Shrinking, Last of Us, Superman and Lois. I haven't watched the most recent season. I don't know why. It was so good when I was watching. Silo, Platonic, Poker Face, Ted Lasso, Abbott Elementary, Barry. Really great list. I didn't put Poker Face, Ted Lasso, or Barry on, even though I watched all of them. I think that they're all top-notch shows. Ted Lasso I thought was better in the middle of the season, and there were some great episodes, and it almost made my list. And by the time it comes to the end of the year, maybe I'll think differently about it. But I'm so fucking pissed about, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but about the ship that did not sail. I'll just say that it like actually ruined part of the show for me. I'm so fucking pissed about that. Not pissed, sad, disheartened. Okay, for movies, you have Spider-Verse, Air, D&D, You Hurt My Feelings, Blackberry, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Covenant, Elemental, and Always Lola. That's really fucking cute. As an announcement to all of you guys, Always Lola is coming out August 1st. This movie is coming out August 1st. I'm fucking stoked about it. And I'll do a whole stream giving you guys all the details and whatnot, but just so cool. Just so cool. And thank you for putting that on your list. That is super endearing and sweet. And hopefully some of the rest of you guys have that somewhere on a list too. You guys are the best. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Send in your favorite and best movies, TV shows. I want to hear from you. Okay, so prior to Barbie, my favorite movie of the year was Elemental. I still love this movie. I think this movie is the best Pixar movie I've seen in years. It is top notch. It gave me all the feels. It is just perfect. Perfect. By the ending, it got me. It got the waterworks going. It's everything you want in your Pixar movies. It's if you are an immigrant or have friends or family that you love who are immigrants, if you are in a mixed relationship or have friends and family you love who are in mixed marriages or friendships, like there's just so much here and it's just so beautiful. Can't express enough how much I loved it. Before Elemental was my favorite movie of the year, Air was my favorite movie of the year. Now, this could be recency bias because obviously it's now Barbie and was Elemental and was Air. So I have to do some rewatching. But Air was just, when I watched it, it was just that fist pump movie where you're like, yep, I'm always going to root for Ben and Matt. I'm a Boston girl. I love Ben and Matt. I love this movie. I love how smart it was. I love that they didn't show Michael Jordan. That would have been a nightmare. Smart the way they did it. It was just really, really well done. Interesting story. Was stoked on it. Yeah, just very, very excited about that movie. On my list, really high up, now the rest of it's not really in an order, is Sisu. For those of you guys who didn't watch Sisu, it's excellent. And I just got my dad and his girlfriend to watch, and they loved it as well. If you like war movies, this is a different kind of war movie. And it's a foreign language film, kind of. The way that it works is that German people in this, it's a World War II movie in Finland, and German people in this speak English and the Finnish people speak Finnish. So there's subtitles for some of it. It was just really, really engaging. It's about this guy who's a gold miner, and it's a different take and a different perspective in World War II. Now, obviously, as your resident Jew, when I say a different perspective in World War II, I do not mean like, well, there's two sides of this coin. I just mean it takes place in Finland, which I didn't even know much about their involvement in the war, or like how they were affected in World War II. They're not one of the big countries that you hear talked about. This was just a smaller story about how one man was affected. It's not a true story, but they do say that it's based on a true person who is known for killing 300 plus Nazis during wartime. What a G. So yeah, I really, really loved this movie. I watched it for Real Rejects. Super grateful that Greg had me check this one out. It was really, really good. I put Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in this because I just think that movie was amazing. I know that it's not cool now to be talking about that movie because now all the people behind the scenes have said that they were treated like shit. And I'm not talking about the treatment of the people when I say that this movie was great. But to be honest, and I don't mean that any of that's right, but whatever happened, this movie was fucking amazing. It looked amazing. It sounded amazing. It was amazing. It's amazing. I loved the first one. I love the second one. I'm probably going to love the third one. So sue me. I want everybody to be paid fairly and not to be overworked. And at the same time, I think this movie's great. I think the movie's great. It was so great as an audience member. Just sometimes I wish I didn't hear all these stories, because it's like, what can you talk about? What can't you talk about? What's taboo? What's not? So that's on my list. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Shout out to Mark Ellis. Shout out to Mark Ellis for being in the chat. Shout out to Jamie Costa for being in the chat. You guys are awesome. My homies. Shout out to everybody for being here at this late night stream. Apparently a lot of us can't sleep. So what better to talk about than television when you cannot sleep, and movies. Okay, also on my list, and I do want to say on a lot of people's lists are movies that I haven't seen yet. There's a couple movies in theaters I haven't seen yet. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, I didn't see. Rye Lane, I haven't seen. But there's a movie that everybody's talking about right now. No Hard Feelings, I didn't see. The movie that everybody's talking about right now that everybody wants everybody to go see in theaters because they're not making many movies like that. Whatever it is, it's on a lot of people's top 10. I didn't see it, and I do want to. It's got like a predominantly Asian cast. You guys will tell me what the name of it is. So there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. Of the movies I have seen, Mission Impossible, I cannot wait for you guys to see it. I just couldn't have liked this movie more. A lot of my friends who are diehard Mission Impossible fans didn't love this movie. I really like this franchise, but more so, I just don't understand how you know what? I'm just going to say it. I don't get how you can't like this movie. I don't get how you go see this Mission Impossible movie and you walk out and you're like, meh, meh, meh. And I'm not saying that's how everybody sounded, but some people were just like, well, actually. And I'm like, what? That shit was dope. Y'all saw in the YouTube videos that they put out, this man fucking falling, free falling. Like, what? Who's better? What's better? Again, separating the art from the artist. Who's better than Tom Cruise? I don't mean in life. I mean as a performer. He's the best action star just possibly ever. Watching this movie is like, yes, it was 2 hours and 43 minutes. I could have watched 5 hours and 50 minutes. Like, it was just it was so good. So good. And then there's been a lot of other great action movies this summer that have made my list. John Wick 4 not this summer, this year. Creed 3, once again, separating the art from the artist. Do I have to say that for every single movie? Like, I didn't even put Flash here, but like between Creed 3 with I'll think of his name in a second. All I do is report on him, but I'll think of it. What the fuck is wrong with my brain at this time? Between Creed 3 and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and The Flash and Mission Impossible, I feel like for every single one of them, I've had to be like, but this little preface, and it's like, Jonathan Majors, thank you, Ryan. Like, sometimes when you lose something, there's just no getting it back. I must have said Jonathan Majors' name 1,000 times in the last 2 months, but tonight it was nothing. There was nothing. It's just all blank. And did I mention Guardians of the Galaxy? Because I loved that one. It's weird to have such big franchise movies on my list, but I feel like I'm such a indie art house girl. But I just haven't seen as many of the indie art house movies this year. Sisu is probably the smallest movie that I've seen. Everything else is pretty massive. Not that they all did well at the box office, but they're pretty big ones. Send in your Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. I'm only here for a few more minutes. As I told you guys, I have bolognese on the stove. I'm making a very intensive bolognese. This shit is simmering right now. I've been working on it for hours. I'm going to feed a whole family of myself. I'm the only one. But it's going to be dank. And I'm going to eat it again tomorrow. And then I'm going to have my birthday, which is on Thursday. So send me love, send me support. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar. Before I go, also, a couple other things I wanted to go over until you guys want to talk about more TV and movie stuff, which send it on in if you have more things you want to say. So you guys know my friend Abel, who's been popping in the stream, who is, I've known since I was 2, got in this really, really horrible car accident. He was on a bike and he got in this car accident, and we had no idea. I had no idea how he was if he was gonna pull through. He was non-responsive and on in the ICU, and it's actually his birthday today, and you guys know he watches the show sometimes. So I just wanted to send love to him just in case. He got out of the hospital today or yesterday, which is amazing. And I was driving, and today I looked up, and on a license plate, I swear to God, I took a picture and I sent it to him. It was his initials and the year that he was born, just on the license plate in front of me. Just his initials and the year he was born. And then it's his birthday, and he got out of the hospital. And I was just like, man, okay. Like, I asked my therapist about this morning, not about him specifically, but about manifestation. And I'm such a skeptic, and I'm so, as I refer to it lovingly to you guys sometimes and to my therapist, like, I'm not good with woo-woo shit. I'm just not good with woo-woo shit. I'm good with tangible shit. I'm good with, like, give me worksheets and practice stuff and, like, what can I do and work more hours and get shit done. I'm really not good at astrology and getting my tarot cards and the universe and manifestation. But I asked my therapist today, and I was like, this is before I saw the license plate. And I said to her, what do you think about manifestation? And she's kind of like me. I'm like, is it woo-woo shit? And she was like, listen, nothing hurts. It doesn't hurt. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? It's not the only thing you can be doing, but if you feel like you're doing everything else in life and things are still not whatever, you might as well fucking try it. And I do believe in that. I do believe in throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I definitely think that as much as I'm not great, some people are just great at naturally manifesting things, whatever. But I've been spending a lot of time spending good energy to my friend Abel and thinking about how badly I want him to pull through this. Okay. And then to look up and to see his name, his initials and the year he was born on the license plate in front of me. And then here he got out of the hospital. I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's worth a shot. So just sending out, you guys know I like to give little tips and tricks that has nothing to do with television and movies. But if right now you are feeling stuck in your life, I don't I don't know about this manifesting thing. I don't fucking know about it. But if every bit helps, maybe try to focus your energies on something that you really want, something that you're really hoping for. They say writing lists out, writing it down as specific as possible. And who the fuck knows? Maybe it will work for you. So anyway, everybody send good vibes to my friend, please, for a safe recovery. And I'm sending good vibes back to you guys and hoping that whatever it is that you are attempting to manifest comes through. I will be here or on the World Girls tomorrow. And before I leave for that, send in any last minute Streamlabs, which I'm getting to right now. Lloyd Nance says, Roxy, what are you doing up late? Team Stryer. It's 10:50. I'm up till 4 a.m. every night. It's early, baby. I haven't even had my dinner. It's still on the stove. I'm going to get bolognese after this. And I made it with heirloom tomatoes. I'm making my own bolognese from scratch, obviously. So I went and got these big yellow and red heirloom tomatoes. So the sauce is like a yellow bolognese sauce. It looks really fucking good. I'm stoked on it. Okay. Garth Harkness McMurray, thank you so much for the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Appreciate you, my dude. Happy early birthday, Roxy. I'm stuck in the hospital in Boston again. Oh, fuck. Thanks for being one of the people who helps distract me from the pain and problems for a little bit. My top shows are Shrinking, The Bear, Barry, The Last of Us, Platonic, Strange New Worlds. I don't watch Strange New Worlds. I feel bad because I know that everybody is saying that it is amazing, and I wish that I did watch it. But it's like, isn't it had like 5 seasons or some shit? I'm so sorry to hear you're back in the hospital. It's so fucking frustrating. I just all right, I'm adding you to my manifestation list just in case it helps. I don't know that it will. Just in case it fucking helps, we're adding Garth to our manifestation lists. We need a healthy, happy Garth. That's what we're manifesting. Ryan Saldana in the streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer said, looking forward to anything at San Diego Comic-Con. Seems mellow with no Marvel Studios and empty Hall H for Saturday. Listen, tomorrow night we're going to find out if SAG goes on strike. So you think that Comic-Con feels mellow now? It's about to probably feel real ass mellow. I will be there. I'm intending on going. What am I looking forward to? Seeing some friends that I haven't seen in a long time. Walking the floor, drinking, networking, hopefully seeing some of you guys. Surprises, in case there are any. I guess we'll fucking see. It's going to be a weird year. All right, my loves, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to those of you guys like Brandy, where it's almost 2 a.m. for you. Thank you to everybody around the world. Thank you to anybody who's watching this after the fact. Thank you to all the rock stars. Thank you for celebrating my last stream on this channel, probably, of being 31. Cheers to 32. Maybe I'll be back here with you guys on my birthday. We'll see. If not, I will be back here later this week. And the World Girls tomorrow for a celebrate good times. Come on. Now, stay safe, stay sane, put down the toilet seat and lid. You don't want those flumes. Don't tremble with the Holocaust. Justice for all the people who lost their lives due to excessive force. My body, my choice, wherever you're on the rainbow, we love you. We stand with the women of Iran, some of the bravest women we've ever seen. Glenn, Golden Sparkles, my dude. The Zen one himself. I haven't heard shit. I've been trying to reach out, asking if anybody knows about Glenn. Please let me know. We love you and we're thinking about you. And anybody else who needs anything manifested for them for positive and for good, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if it will fucking work, but might as well goddamn try it. It's in my head. Okay. So much love. Shout out to everyone who's in here. Jimmy and Ryan and Marcello and Jeremy and Mike and Brandy and Powell and Zeno and JMB and Robert and Movie Fan and Lloyd and Garth and Jimmy. Did I say you? Because you, Jimmy, and everybody else. So much love. Yeah. Okay. Later.